Hi everybody, we can see all of our CASP transfer students coming into our college advising session. If you'd like to, in the chat, feel free to answer the question that we have on the screen. We're just going to wait for a few more people to join us. But we're just curious, what's one thing, hobby, activity that you might be doing right now that's made staying at home more exciting?
All right, so you can't access the chat. So I think just go ahead and type it in as a question and answer for now, and then I'll take it from there.
Actually, I think that we just got a message that the chat was turned on. So if you want to use the chat, that's cool. Okay, some people are gardening, some people are reading, listening to music, drawing, video games, archery, that's cool. Yoga, playing tennis, dancing, piano. We've got a lot of gardeners. I also enjoy gardening. I have a little one on my patio. Oh, someone's taking engineering courses. Okay. Coding, cool. Some people are working. Digital art, that's awesome. So we've got a lot of artistic folks with us today. It looks like doing a lot of really cool things. And Amato and I were talking about how we've been watching The Price is Right as we're doing our paperwork and our emailing. So I think it's just helpful to have some of these activities that kind of make this time a little bit more exciting. We're just kind of monitoring how the responses are coming in. It looks like we might have everybody with us now. So I think we're just going to go ahead and jump into the presentation because we want to have some time to do some Q&A. So hi everybody, my name is Carla Kastner and I'm one of the advisors at Muir College.
And my name is Amado.
And I'm joined by my colleague.
So my name is Amado, and I'm one of the advisors at for Warren College. And then really quickly, we're just we're doing a presentation on behalf of all the colleges, so we're going to keep this very general, but we're trying to get as many questions as we can to move along.
Yeah, so we will have an opportunity for some Q&A at the very end. So if you want to just kind of write down your questions, and then we can answer them with you at the end. So the purpose of today's session is to kind of go over a few things. So introduce you to advising at UCSD and how it works. Kind of introduce you to the point of a college advisor. Also talk about how to connect with us before fall quarter. Go over some important dates for fall quarter, and then we will have some time for Q&A as well. So let's go ahead and jump in to the advising structure at UCSD. We have what we call a decentralized advising model, and so what that means is that you're going to have different advisors in different areas, and basically all of us make up your advising team. So your advising team is made up of a college advisor, and so the college advisor is responsible for your GEs, your university requirements, and making sure that you're meeting all of those overall graduation requirements. One thing that's going to be important is hopefully most of you are coming in with IGETC or a partial IGETC, so you might not have as many GEs or university requirements as you do major requirements. So in addition to the college advisor, you also have the major advisor. And the major advisor is responsible for all of your major related questions, requirements, planning for the major, things like that. And then you also have other advisors in different offices. So there's career services, there's the academic internship program, there's the international center, financial aid. So there's a lot of different offices that all have different advisors. So you can start to see that your team is made up of a lot of specialists. Now, this might be a little bit different than at community college, where they have more of a one-stop shop model. So you go to one person for everything. The benefit of this system, this decentralized system, is that you get a lot of specialized advice and a lot of detailed advice to your questions. But the other thing you have to remember is that you do need to make the time to go to all of these different individuals and kind of follow up with them, so you can get that specialized advice. With the one-stop shop, it is nice because you can just go to one person, but sometimes you don't get that in-depth advice and you might miss out on some important nuances that someone who has more specialized information can share with you. We know that UCSD is a really big place, and so if you have questions and you're not really sure who to ask, always start with your college advisor, because we can help connect you with the right people to talk to, with the right offices, and get you connected to the next step. So it's always great to come and see us because we can help you with those types of questions if you don't know where to go. So now that we've talked about navigating UCSD, we're going to move on to kind of a little bit more about how advising works more specifically between the major and the college.
Yeah, so to kind of highlight the differences between what a college advisor and a major advisor does, again, a college advisor can help you with understanding and planning your GE and university requirements, learn more about university policies and our deadlines, to help you make informed decisions about your academic situation before these deadlines approach, to be able to connect to one of our many campus resources that will help you reach some of those goals that you may have, to clarify your long-term educational goals and interests, to explore majors and find one. And again, all of you as transfer students are coming in already declared with a major, but we know sometimes you may be thinking of something else. And so if that's the case, come in early and talk to us so that we can get you thinking about that really early on, especially given sort of this idea of the quarter, the 6-quarter limit that transfer students come in with. And then getting things back on track. Life happens. We all go through sort of these situations, and you want to make sure that, again, if things are happening, you're communicating with us very early on. Now, for major advisors, they can understand you and help you understand and plan your major requirements. Learn more about different majors within the department, understanding the department policies and the procedures, to clarify questions about prerequisites, to connect you to research, internship, TA opportunities, to provide information about graduate professional school options that the department may offer. Okay. Now, so kind of like the point of all of this is we want to make sure that you come see us. And so throughout the, as a CASP student coming in, there's sort of these expectations around how much you should be seeing college advisors. So you are required to meet with us at least 2 times per quarter during your first year here. It is implemented differently at each of the colleges, right? So again, you all have access to the Virtual Advising Center already, and by vac.ucsd.edu. So if you haven't already been asking questions through there, make sure you're going in and asking us questions very early on. You'll be receiving more communication from each of the different representatives for each of the colleges on what the expectations are, who you may be meeting with, and what to do as the school year progresses. But again, for now, make sure you're reading those the back and your UCSD email. Can't emphasize that enough. You have to check your UC San Diego email for more information. Everything that's coming from the university is going through your UCSD email account. Again, as a reminder, vac.ucsd.edu. Disregard the date right now. Again, that's for that was for our first year students, but for you all as transfers, you all already have access to that. This is to help you with fall quarter schedules. So I know we've gotten questions about, so not all colleges get course recommendations. So on that topic, because not all colleges give course recommendations to our incoming transfer students, if you don't get anything today, just go in and ask for recommendations. And if you're gonna have to partner with the department and with the colleges to kind of give you some information on what you may need to do, but oftentimes there's courses like there's a writing requirement for many of our transfers for many of the colleges, and even the diversity, equity, and inclusion requirement, or for short DEI. Those are some of the courses that you can look at that we can oftentimes recommend. But again, just check in with the college. And take it from there. And then we wanted to show you all who some familiar, so some faces that you can kind of put names and to faces for each of the colleges. So these are the reps for CASP at each of the different colleges. And you can see here, so we have Arnell Tan from Ravel, Carla, who's co-presenting with me, who's at Muir. Emily Gonzalez is the representative for Marshall. I am the representative for Warren College. Lydia is the representative for Eleanor Roosevelt College. Arthur Alvarez would be the representative for 6. And then you have Stephanie Pineda, who is a representative for 7. And then again, you may be getting communication from some of us. You're going to get communications through the Virtual Advising Center. So that's where we're doing a lot of our official communication, and that generates an email letting you know that there's something for you to double check. And then starting in the fall, or sometime in the fall quarter, it'll transition at least for Warren to Isabel. So you'll see there's the shift as she'll be taking over at some point. But either herself or myself can always help with the process.
Okay, so now we're going to go over how to get ready for fall quarter enrollment. So if you want to take a screenshot of these dates, that's fine. You can view your enrollment time now. So hopefully you've already checked on that. If you go to tritonlink.ucsd.edu, there's a banner at the top of the page with important announcements. And there's a link there for you to check your enrollment appointment time. So that is the day and time that you will have access to WebReg to sign up for all of your classes. And then the deadlines for you to complete the Compass. So that's one of the online things you have to complete. And this is all available through the virtual advisor. So when you log in to vac.ucsd.edu, there should be a page which kind of talks about completing Compass, registering for orientation, and all of the other things that you need to do. So that's where you would find that information. But the deadline to sign up for Compass or to complete Compass is today. So if you haven't completed Compass yet, you still have today to do that. You also need to register for orientation, and orientation is required. Our orientation coordinators are doing a great job of planning it and making sure it's a really cool interactive session. So definitely, if you haven't already signed up for orientation, make sure you do that. Today's the deadline. And then course recommendations. So as Amato had mentioned, not all of the colleges are going to be providing college-related course recommendations, but we do encourage you to reach out to your college through the virtual advisor to request some college-related course recommendations. That way you'll kind of have an ability to sign up for some of those classes. And so the deadline, or the first day that you can view your course recommendations, if you have them, is today. The virtual advisor has already been opened. So you do have access to advisors through the online advising in the virtual advisor. And if you haven't already reached out to your major advisor for course recommendations, we recommend that you do that. Some of the departments have probably already sent you information through the virtual advisor about course recommendations and their orientations that they might be providing. So we encourage you to look through that information if you haven't already done that. And then also your college recommendations are available now. So if you have any questions about those, you can write into your college advisor through the virtual advisor as well. I know at Muir we are providing course recommendations. And then if your college isn't providing course recommendations, that's okay. As Amato had mentioned, definitely write into your college advisor. And then most importantly, new student enrollment begins August 10th for transfer students. So all of your, when you check your enrollment time, those dates are going to start August 10th and just go on from there. So those are the important dates to look out for. And then I guess we probably have time for some questions and answers. So if you want to write to us through the Q&A function, which is at the bottom of the Zoom screen, go ahead and do that. We'll take a look and see what we have coming in.
Yeah, so we do actually already have a few questions, and I've been trying to type up some of the answers to, because we're trying to get through as many as we can in our short period of time. But there's a couple that I'd like to address live. So the first one is, what is the 6-quarter limit? I mentioned that a little earlier. And what if you were admitted into a 3-year program? So starting last year, UCSD has implemented a policy. All incoming first-year students who came in as freshmen have to finish within 12 quarters. So that's, since we're in a quarter system, you're looking at 4 years. For a transfer, it's 6 quarters, which you're looking at 2 years. And so you're allowed to take as many classes as you can through each of those quarters, but the idea is that you're finishing in 2 years. And so if you're unable to finish in that time, you definitely want to have a conversation with both your department and with the college early on. And we can talk about what that looks like if you need to extend into a 3-year program. Technically, there are ways where you can later on go ahead and request to extend your time here. But it's essentially a competition process. And so just check in with the colleges if you feel like you're going to go over the 2 years to make sure that you stay on track. The other question I wanted to address live was, so most of their courses, they've noticed on the schedule of classes that right now they're showing waitlisted. So you're going in, you're checking classes, and you're saying, oh man, like all of them are full. What do I do? My registration is not happening until August 10th, 11th, or 12th. So most of the departments, sorry about that. Most of the departments have actually reserved seats for our incoming students. So those waitlisted are current or students who are already enrolled from last year, right? And so they're waitlisted to give you all a chance to go ahead and enroll for classes. So don't pay attention too much right now to the wait list. That will shift. That does not guarantee that you get into the classes, right? So you also want to be flexible with your class schedule and plan different course options, but seats will be opening up for the classes that you need. Let's see what else we can answer live.
Some people are asking about iGetsy and wondering if it's okay that if your community college hasn't finished processing the iGetsy. So there are going to be probably some delays with the community colleges being able to send that information because of COVID-19. So admissions is aware of that, but we do encourage you to make sure you get that information sent in as soon as possible. And then I do recommend that you write into your college advisor to check in about the situation and get some advice about how that might influence what you should be signing up for your college requirements in the fall.
Let's see. We're getting a lot of questions around writing. So again, double check about the writing requirements. So each of the colleges have different writing requirements. I know at Warren, we have the Warren Writing 100 course that students have to take. You do not have to take it your first quarter. You can take it anytime during your 2 years here at UC San Diego. I used to work at Eleanor Roosevelt College. I know that they have 2 writing courses that students need to take in MMWs 121 and 122. The preference is that students do take that 121 during that first quarter so that they can try and finish it by their first year as much as possible. But again, if you're having issues with that, it's going to be different with each of the colleges. So the easiest thing to do is anything college specific, anything college requirement specific at this point, please make sure you're submitting those questions through the vac.ucsd.edu so that you can get more information on those specifics. And then all of you, I'll go ahead and address it because I haven't seen the question, but I know we wanted to address this, is the schedule of class or your enrollment time should be available. And I know some of our students were having issues accessing the enrollment time. So if you're having issues accessing the enrollment time on Triton Link by following the link that's on the page, I know students were having issues clicking on my Triton Link over here. If that's the case, then you're gonna wanna go to Triton Link Tools. And then under Classes and Enrollment Tools, there's WebReg. This is the tool that you're going to be using to register for classes. This also allows you to plan your schedule, but it also allows you to find your enrollment time. So that's the other way to go ahead and find that as well. And then in terms of how do you know if you have iGetsy, the community college helps you determine that. So you have to check in with the community college and have them do the certification. If you are either partial, you were missing 1 or 2 courses from completing the whole transfer agreement, or you finish all the courses within that transfer agreement, you likely have it, but the community college has to do the certification. and then they send that in to UC San Diego's admissions office, where then it gets posted to your academic records, and it takes your admissions office at least 6 to 8 weeks for them to update that information. So you definitely want to go ahead and do that as soon as possible to have your GEs reflected correctly.
And we are getting some questions about the CASP course. So you will need to take EDS 150, which is a 2-unit upper division course. And so if you do have college course recommendations, that course has already been listed in your course recommendations. If not, you can check with the CASP office. They have more information about how you're supposed to be signing up for EDS 150. It is listed on the casp.ucsd.edu website and on the scheduled classes. And so essentially that course is going to provide you with some upper division units. And so you'd have to check in with your college advisor to see how that would apply to your college requirements. So you can write into the college advisor through the virtual advisor, and we can give you some more specific information about that.
Let's see, I see when it says, should I wait for my GETSI to go through to register for classes? No, not necessarily. A GETSI is for general education requirements. You should still be able to register for major coursework. At the very least, go ahead and register. Make sure you're communicating with your major department about what courses you should take during your first quarter. But there still will be some general education requirements that you can take. Again, the most common one, actually it's a university requirement, but it is something that you can take, and it's the diversity, equity, and inclusion requirement for UC San Diego. And so if you search it, you'll find a list of approved courses. If you click on it, you can oftentimes choose a class from this list, and that'll help you fulfill a requirement that typically all of our UC San Diego students have to take.
So we are a little bit over time. I don't know, Ria, do we have time for more questions, or should we conclude our session?
You have time for more questions. We let students know that the session ended at 11:40, but if Amado and Carla, if you are able to stay till 12, I know we'll be on here till 12, and we've let students know as well.
Okay, so we did talk about the EDS 150, but yes, it is a required course that you need to take for your scholarship. So you definitely want to make sure that you are enrolling in that class. You won't be able to sign up for it until your enrollment time. Let's see. I think some people have questions about advising over the summer. So all advising is going to be done through the virtual advisor. And so if you want to connect with your college advisor, when you go into vac.ucsd.edu, there should be a link that says online advising, and that's how you connect there. And then when you're in there, you can select to send a question to your college or to your major or to a department. So if you want to connect with someone who isn't your major advisor, maybe you're a sociology major, but you have a question about a psychology class, then you need to select that you want to send your question to a department, and then from the drop down, you can select psychology, and then your question will go directly to the psychology department. So once fall quarter begins, that's when you can come in and meet with an advisor, well, in person, but virtually, probably. But you can meet with your major during the fall quarter. You can meet with your college advisor during the fall quarter. But for now, while it's enrollment time, we'll be doing everything from the virtual advisor. So feel free to send us your questions. Again, if you don't know who to send the question to, you can send it to the college, because we do have the ability to refer it to a different department if it's not supposed to be answered by us. And it is a live person that's going to answer your questions. So I know it might seem a little impersonal, but it is really a person who's answering you on the other side.
Let's see. So we've seen a question about DEI, since I mentioned that requirement. It may be possible. So the question is it possible for DEI to be covered by a course that the student may have taken to also fulfill their IGETSI? Or does it have to be done at UC San Diego? most times, most often, it needs to be done at UC San Diego. There are a lot of these courses aren't actually, there aren't equivalents at the community college. And so most students do end up doing it at UC San Diego. But if you did take a course that's equivalent to this, to one of the courses on this list, and you took that course, so the important thing here is to, on this list, there's an approved if taken or during or after this quarter. So let's say you did find an equivalent, you did take an equivalent to Anthropology 21, but a student took it before fall 2011, it actually won't count. So you want to make sure that you took the course from the quarter it was approved or afterwards in order for it to count if you managed to find an equivalent class. Otherwise, plan to take it at UC San Diego. Let's see.
Someone's asking if we can take additional upper div major courses to fulfill the upper division unit requirement, or does it have to be one of the DEI courses? So with the upper division unit requirement, some of those units will be coming from your major, but you may not have enough coming from the major to meet the required number of upper division units. And so those are typically fulfilled with extra upper division courses. Those could be electives that you want to take from a different department, or extra major classes beyond what's required for the major. Any course that's numbered 100 or higher at UCSD is considered upper division. And so if you have more questions about, how that impacts your college-related requirements, please write into your college advisor, and we can give you that more specialized answer.
So what can we do if we want to double major? Is it guaranteed that we will be allowed? It's not guaranteed. It's a petition process. You would need to work with both departments of the majors you want to go ahead and double major within, and you would fill that out. Again, work with both departments. Once you get both of them to approve, you work with the college to see if you meet the criteria. Again, I want to remind you that technically we do have this 6-quarter limit requirement that we have to make you aware of, and so you do have to plan around that. Essentially, this idea that you have to try and finish within those 2 years. This is not to freak out anybody. So if you're not able to finish within those 2 years, like if you know that's not going to happen with a single major, it's not something where if you don't finish in 2 years, you don't get your degree. You will be able to get your degree as long as you're always in good standing. And we know sometimes students have to extend their time here. So that's where you need to communicate with the college early on and kind of plan ahead. And again, we can do that. We can do that starting in the fall quarter to kind of start planning your time here ahead of time. But again, it isn't guaranteed, but you certainly can petition to do a double major.
Okay, and someone's asking about a minor. So with a minor, you need to declare the minor online, and you won't be able to do that until you're enrolled in classes. So we typically advise that you try out a couple classes for the minor and meet with that department to talk about the declaration process and how they want you filling out that application online. But then, if you're certain that you want to pursue the minor, we do encourage you to declare it. If you're declaring a minor after 150 units, that does require approval by both the department and the college. And so with that, we are looking at your graduation timeline as part of that process. So I think the best thing to do is to kind of check out the minor, maybe take one class for it in the fall, and then come and see your college advisor in fall quarter or the very beginning of winter quarter to kind of talk more about the process.
What is the difference between declaring a double major and having a major with a minor? So the double majors, if you successfully complete both majors, they'll both appear on your diploma once you've officially graduated. For a minor does not appear on your diploma. It is also, for most minors, it's typically about 7 classes, although some minors can be 8. There's one I think it's about 10 classes, and then there's something like data science, which is like 14, 15 classes to minor in data science. So that work doesn't necessarily show on your diploma. It does show on your transcripts, and you can always list that on your resume once you're done. But the work that you do for a double major is, again, the first thing is it shows on both or like on your diploma. And essentially you're thinking of it as like you're specializing in like 2 different fields based off, but again, it's, whether major or minoring, like it's double majoring isn't always for everybody. The same thing, like minoring isn't always for everybody. If you're certainly thinking about it though, we're never going to discourage you from doing it. We want to have those conversations with you to kind of get you on the right track if it is something that you really want to do.
Someone's asking about how they can access their enrollment time and date. I think that we are aware that some people are having issues with that, so we're planning to send out an email with some more of that information listed there. But Amato is actually going through it right now. So if you go to tritonlink.ucsd.edu, you can see where there's an announcements and deadlines banner. And under July 27th, it says fall enrollment appointments are available, and then there's a link. So you click there, and you should be able to sign in with your PID and your password, and then you should be able to see it there. So if you can't, if you go through that process and there's something wrong, then write into your college advisor through the VAC, and we can help you that way as well.
Or the other way
it looks
here,
like.
Sorry, the other way here is just trying link tools, and then you can also try WebReg. And again, that one might also allow you to see your, that should allow you to see your enrollment time. Go for it, Carla.
Yeah, perfect. No, you're fine. That's great. So there's a couple different ways. Hopefully those are going to work for you. It does look like you've got 2 minutes before the major sessions are going to start, and Ria posted the link in the chat here. So it's been really great talking to all of you. Thank you for coming to our session. And on behalf of the 7 colleges, we are looking forward to seeing you and working with you in the upcoming time at UCSD.